Officially opened on January 1st, 1892, Ellis Island stood to process over 12 million immigrants until 1952. Thousands of people each day came through during the peak of immigration in the 1890s up through the 1920s. The amount of immigration was incredible and is still commemorated by our country today. During this early 20th century peak, people of all nationalities, however mostly European, sought to better themselves in America. They boarded ships with their families, leaving their old home behind, and set off for America. First and second class passengers were checked out before boarding or while on board, so they were free to get off easily in New York City. Meanwhile, third class passengers, or steerage passengers, were packed tightly into the ship and had to go through immigration processes on Ellis Island. When approaching Ellis Island, all the passengers got a view of the Statue of Liberty, which became very symbolic for all immigrants. Seeing this after a long journey filled immigrants with hope, joy, and optimism for their new American life. So finally, when landing on the boardwalk, many passengers had a fresh mood of patriotism. Once ready to enter, immigrants had to be sure to have their identification card visibly on themselves, then wait long lines in the registry room in order to be examined, then go up a long flight of stairs with doctors at the top, seeing who is the weakest and who is the strongest when climbing the stairs. Now begins the examinations. Immigrants are given physicals, which are later named 6-second physicals. Doctors check for any diseases or physical problems which would need further examination. About 20% of the people are sent on to further examination. However, fortunately, only 2% face complications which prohibit them from immigrating. When examining, doctors write various marks on the patients with chalk, which represent different ailments. Then this person would be further examined for the specific problem in which they are marked. One of the most problematic ailments was trachoma, labeled CT, which was an infection of the eye. This was tested for with a painful button hook, and a positive result ended in an immediate denial of immigration. Those who were not allowed to immigrate or were detained had to often wait months in the island's hospital to return back to home. Any person over the age of 12 could be sent back alone, but oftentimes one parent in the family opted to go back with their child. This was not only a big letdown after such a long journey, but was devastating to the families who had to split up. Those who were fortunate enough to pass all their examinations were well on their way to completing the immigration process. They now just had to pass a literacy test in their own language and present various proofs of legal identification. Immigrants had to present some documents, their identification cards, and answer some questions with the help of a translator. Once finished, they were free to go start their lives in the United States of America. Our nation has not forgot about Ellis Island. Although it closed its doors to immigrants in 1952, it is still very utilized today. After millions of dollars in restorations, the island stands as a museum for visitors year-round. America is a melting pot of many cultures that all immigrated and still immigrate here today for the freedom and liberty of our country. We cannot forget who makes up America, and we'll always have Ellis Island to represent that.